Hey going guys, welcome back to another video. Now before we get into this one, I want to give a big shout out to everyone who's subscribed over the last 12 months. We've finally hit my 1,000 subscriber mark. So in the next coming days, I'll do a video where I draw the winner and we'll work out how you guys can get in contact with me to basically claim the $1,000 gift pack. So on the screen right now, you can see some footage of what you guys are going to be in the draw to win. So yeah, it's just a bit of a token of appreciation from me to you guys to say thanks for all the support on my channel over the last 12 months. All right, now that we got that out the way, let's talk about Virtual Chrome. Now, Virtual Chrome is a really cool product to paint, and it's rather simple as well to paint it. Now, it does take a bit of practice to get things laid down nicely and to get a really top-notch job. Now, I'm gonna keep this really short, this video. I actually recorded an intro last week and I was rambling on for about 6.5 minutes. So I kind of wanted to like dull it down a little bit. If you want a full in-depth guide on how to paint Virtual Chrome, there's a link in the description to the DNA Paints YouTube channel where I do a full in-depth guide where I talk about literally everything. So to keep it really short, I'll probably just tell you, I guess, the basics. Obviously you got to start by painting something gloss black. You want to try and keep it as clean and off the gun as possible and try and get your clear coat on dead flat. By having it dead flat, you get a much nicer job with the Virtual Chrome because the chrome particles will actually sit on the top of the gloss black surface. Now you can't touch that gloss black surface with your fingers. Ideally, you don't want to get any dust nibs in your clear coat. You can't denib anything and polish it. It needs to stay basically gloss black. Now, that's the same with tack ragging. You can't prep sol it. All those things that you would normally do before you paint, you can't do it with this Virtual Chrome process because you will get a negative effect once it's painted. Now, for the sake of this video, I actually put a thumbprint on the middle of the panel just so I can show you that like it is important that you try and keep the panel nice and clean. Now, once you've painted something like gloss black, you've got two options. You can paint it in a booth and bake it for 60 minutes at 60 degrees, or if you're painting at home in your shed, you want to paint the gloss black, then leave it for probably about 5 to 7 days for it to fully cure. Before you start painting Virtual Chrome over the top, you must paint with a 0.7mm spray gun up to a 1.2. Now, I do all my Virtual Chroming with a 0.7 and I find that I can lay it down much nicer with less model. Now, in regards to gun setup, I like to use as I said, a 0.7mm spray gun, and I wind my fluid all the way in like clockwise, then out a quarter of a turn. In regards to air pressure, I think it's about the 15 PSI to my memory. So I'll put the data sheet up on the screen right now and you can have a quick skim over that. But yeah, so I'll put that up on the screen now and I'll put some text over the screen where the key points are just to keep this video pretty short. Okay, so you've got a nice clean off the gun black paint job. You don't want to be touching it with your fingers, tack ragging it, prep soling, no denibbing and polishing, etc. If you've painted it and you've left it for a week in your shed, it's got some dust on the surface, just simply get an air blower and blow that panel down. Now, in regards to the coats, you want to be putting 3 to 4 very light coats down over your gloss black. Try not to get a lot of build of the Virtual Chrome on the panel. Now, by having your gun set up with a quarter of a turn of fluid and your fan all the way open at 15 PSI, you'll notice that not much paint is coming out. Now, that's exactly what you want. You don't want heaps of paint coming out. That's why the quarter of a turn really does make a big difference. And what you want to be doing is basically applying 3 to 4 very light coats. Try not to get coverage. You just want to build that up over time. And being that you're painting over a shiny panel or like a gloss black panel, basically that's where it gets the reflectivity from the gloss black. Once you've got your 3 to 4 light coats down, you want to be basically allowing 60 seconds, or 10 seconds to 60 seconds of flash time. Once you've got your 3 to 4 coats down, and it's looking really, really great, like as chrome as you can imagine, you want to let it sit for about 2.5 to 3 hours. Alrighty, before we get too carried away with the key clear, what we would like to do with our polishing cloths is basically fold everything towards the center, because what will actually happen, the stitching on the edge of the polishing cloth could, I'll emphasize that, could scratch the surface of the virtual chrome. So we'll find a nice even spot for that. So we've got a nice clean surface here. So we don't have any stitching around the outside. So now we've already got our key clear in the gun. We'll go and give this a bit of a polish, and we'll lay down our 2 coats of the key clear. What this time period will actually do is basically let the solvents outgas from the virtual chrome, allowing you to put the key clear down. Now, before we get into the key clear stage, you're probably wondering, okay, so you're asking me to paint something over the top of a non-prep surface. Surely the paint is going to come away, it's going to chip off, etc. Well, that's where the key clear comes into play. Without speaking like a chemist and talking all those fancy terms, which I don't really understand myself, what the key clear actually does is it bites into the microscopic pores of the gloss black through the virtual chrome, and it locks it in place. Now, the key clear stage is it's one of those processes that needs to be done correctly, because it can go from 100 to 0 real quick. So basically, in regards to application, you want to be applying 2 coats with 10 to 15 minutes between coats. And then once your last coat has been applied, you want to wait 15 minutes before you put your 2K like clear coat over the top. Now, in regards to those 2 coats, you're probably wondering, all right, what gun setup do I need in order to put down this key clear? Now, I set my gun up using a 1.2 for the clear. And I wind my fluid out 3 turns, and the air pressure of the spray gun is roughly 28 to 29 psi, just like normal like clear coat air pressures. But in regards to the gun distance, I usually come back about 20 centimeters, and I'm putting a very light coat over the top. So yeah, so 20 centimeters away, 29 psi, 3 turns out on the fluid using a 1.2, and my speed has been increased quite a lot. Now, I do try and put 2 medium to light coats of the key clear down. If you're putting the key clear on like a traditional clear coat, what will actually happen is if it's been applied too wet, you will basically float the virtual chrome to the surface, and you'll end up getting a dull or frosted finish, and it will ruin it. You'll lose the reflectivity, and it won't look like the virtual chrome that you had hoped to get. So that's pretty much the whole nutshell and the hard parts of virtual chrome all covered so far. And then once obviously you've put your last coat of your key clear down, you've waited 2.5 to 3 hours, then you can start putting down your 2K clear. So I do recommend using a high solid like clear coat like the Diamond Clear. That works fantastic. So yeah, once you are ready to start laying down your 2K clear, just clear it like you would any other job. So I did run over some gun settings in my previous video. So once you've laid down your clear coat, virtual chrome is done. That's pretty much it. So with that said, I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I tried to put in as much information as I could but keeping it really short at the same time. As I did say, if you want a real detailed video on virtual chrome, head into the link in the description and watch that full in-depth guide. So what's my plans for this virtual chrome guard now that it's painted? Now I want to put a candy over the top. Now I've shown sapphire blue and blood red candy and aquamarine candy over the top of the virtual chrome. Let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see me put over this virtual chrome guard. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. You guys will take it easy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.